Hello, sparrows. Good morning. Oh, I forgot something. I forgot something rather important this morning, didn't I? Seeing as it's a snowy morning, not gonna get too far without my sleigh. Now we're better. Yes, guys, hello. It's okay. What a snowy morning this is on Christmas Eve. Snowy indeed. A snow-filled Christmas Eve. Pray that everyone who goes on the road today be careful. I mean that. If you're driving today, just take it slowly. Pull over if you have to. Stop if you have to. Whatever it is you gotta do, make sure you do it with peace. Let's see. All right, cool. I was making sure that I brought with me that which I planned on showing you today. I've been taking these supplements in the morning. Ashwagandha, Irish sea moss, reishi mushrooms, lion's mane, a whole line of things. Neem, particularly with turmeric, just all the goodies. However, about a half an hour after, without food in my stomach, I start to get a little bit of, not acid reflux, but just a little bit of a burp. And that's what happens in the beginning of the walk, sometimes. How's the view of the snow? Is it cool? You'll have to tell me. So Merry Christmas. Christmas this morning begins with me thanking the Lord for the gift of consciousness on this day, which I do every morning, followed by routine stretching and calisthenics, as well as plank pose, while doing affirmations of worth. How about you? What do you do for your morning routine? Oh, I've been habitually going and creating a song every morning too. This morning was a beautiful offering that I collaborated with Suno to create. I'm quite happy about that. How do you like this view from The Shining? Don't say that's a bad thing. Stanley Kubrick came up with a great idea when Jack Nicholson was losing his mind on set and on scene. Though I spoke of Shelley Duvall yesterday, I never said anything of Jack Nicholson, who's probably involved in a great number of crimes, notably Roman Polanski. So let's just put that out there. No one is free from my discussions. Anyway, do you remember that scene in The Shining? He's quote-unquote locked in the freezer, the walk-in freezer, where all the ice cream is that, Danny is tempted with. Yes, Jack Nicholson's in there, and Wendy, love of my life, that kind of thing. And he's got his hand on the emergency door opener, and Wendy is not aware that this exists. It's fairly clear, or it's beautifully acted by Shelley Duvall, probably both. And Kubrick is just like, dude, stay right there. He gets right underneath him, starts filming, and it's a beautiful juxtaposition from the scene that you see where he's really starting to show that he's losing his mind. He's throwing the tennis ball against the wall. It's coming back to him, and he goes over to this model of the overlook, Labyrinth Garden, and he looks down. And as he's looking down, there's this incredible effect this special effect that looks like AI. I mean, it's Kubrick at his best. Considering this was in 1981, it looks like you're looking at CGI, and it's just like, how is this possible? As there's this perfect zoom in that cuts to them, Wendy and Danny, walking in the labyrinth. So you see Jack's character at that moment looking down, and then you see this next moment where he's really gone, and now he's off the wagon, literally started drinking in the gold room. Supposedly he could be hallucinating the whole thing. In fact, the entire thing could just be a hallucination and a repetition of a broken record haunting people. It's just a beautiful, scary, but beautiful story. Takes place in Colorado, actually. That's where the Overlook is, supposedly. And you see Calumet, which means peace pipe, all throughout in that storage room. I think it's baking powder or something. Calumet. And it's a Native American portrayed on the can, baking soda. Kind of crazy. Indeed, it's crazy. All the symbolism, and supposedly Kubrick was so obsessed over symbolism that he would spend hours framing a shot like it was a Da Vinci painting. It had to be perfect. And he had multiple people working with him to make it that. So before anything else, on this snowy Christmas Eve, a day like any other, since Saturnalia is over, it is. Christmas Eve is a day like any other. Christmas is a day. The week of Saturnalia is a day, or sequence of days, but you know, it's the day of waiting, right? Christmas Eve. You're on the eve of something, the evening, where you're waiting for something better. Time is all about this day. So I wanted you to know that this, I came into possession rather miraculously. And it's a combination of, well, it's a worked stone, probably 15,000 to 30,000 years old. Whoever wants to look at it is welcome to, who understands archaeology. However, this is a worked stone for sure. It was chipped, and you can see where some sort of twine or rope or maybe hemp was fixed to where it was used as an axe or a hatchet. However, found like this, without the cords attached, I've been placing this right on my chest like Iron Man, you know, at night. And it warms up because it's piezoelectric, and it also absorbs warmth, heat, as we've discussed, you know, with quartz. And I believe this to be a smoky quartz or an amethyst. It's changed over my time working with it, I think. At least in my perception it has. However, putting it right on my chest at night and falling asleep, I feel this profound sense of peace. And I'm also alerted with plenty of lucid dreams. They're very clear. And last night I had one there. There was no exception to the rule, which we will discuss today. So have a look from the bottom up. When you're at the rock bottom, have a look. Take a gander, as it were. But it feels so good today because it's maybe 20, 25 degrees warmer than it's been over the last 2 days. So this is like a cakewalk in the Amazon. It's nice and clear with clear pathways, perfect skies. That's what it feels like today. Not cold at all. And I thought, let's just go over the top with this and put on a nice warm hat. Why not? Just for the sake of comfort on this day of waiting. Right? Well, I'll tell you, I didn't have to wait to hear my morning story being said about me. Happens every morning. There's a phone call between my mother and father. And I don't like to listen to the details, so I put on my headphones and I blast the music. However, It seems like my mother insists on having conversations on speakerphone as if other people would want to hear or are listening, to feel more important, or I don't know, it might have something to do with her hearing. I mean, it seems to, even though some things she hears very clearly, there are other things which she does not hear, apparently the voice of other people on the phone. Though when I speak, she seems to understand and hear very clearly. And maybe it has to do with my intonation and the beauty of my presentation. Though my mother often tells me I rant, as this is probably a rant to you. Not sure how she hears it, but she does. Some moments magical, some debilitating, I guess, is the life that my mother lives. That's a judgment. But at the same time, it's going by behavior that I've observed, observable behavior. And everyone could say, I know who William is or Billy, based on observable behavior. Right. How many conversations have we had together over the last 5 years? 7 years? 10 years? And I don't mean how many conversations have we had with you pretending to have a conversation with me with somebody else who's there that I don't know about. That's not a conversation with me. That's a conversation about me. We talked about that yesterday. That's a legitimate question. How long has it been since you've actually sat down, opened up your heart, listened, and responded in turn? How about ever? So if anyone falls into that camp of I don't know, geez, it's been so many years, you can understand why I'm not talking about you unless it's absolutely pertinent for the well-being of people who I love and care about. Usually it involves, listen, I don't like to speak about people who are not here. I only do it if it's absolutely necessary because it has to do with their livelihood, being affected. And I say it out of their defense. Though you may say, well, telling your father to shape up and ask him what the fuck is wrong with him isn't exactly fair. Well, I asked him. He's watching without responding, sharing without consent. So I figure that's the way that we talk now. How else do we talk, Dad? When's the last time we had a walk and talk in the woods? I think it was maybe 2.5 years ago. Came with a bunch of promises attached to them. Doesn't seem like they're being carried through. It all just doesn't matter. It's all illusion. It's all the Overlook Hotel. A big fat nightmare. Cycling. And I would rather not participate. So I call, the other man who has the power of shining. Forget his name. Beautiful, kind man. Comes by, flies in, saves the day. Almost. It's like you can't count on anyone saving the day. You gotta just keep on going, keep on going. It's not that morbid. It's not that terrible. All it is illusion, all this around you. Illusion. Even if it's perfect, even if it's bliss, it's still illusion. This is what Zen teaches you. Not to say that I'm so much Zen. More Zen than you. That would put me on a pedestal, wouldn't it? That would set me back at the beginning. No, we are all sharing this illusion. That's what a video game is. It's an illusion. You believe to be playing a character, walking through a stage, unlocking achievements, fighting bosses. You know how it is. But you believe. Otherwise, you wouldn't participate now, would you? Therein lies the rub. You wouldn't participate in this game of life. You wouldn't participate in this game of life if you didn't feel like you were truly immersed and thrown in. And it's so believable because you're not shown directly how this is an illusion until you really dig. And when you dig deep and you discover that, well, what happens? The game doesn't become as important. You're like, oh, I thought this was real. I thought this was reality. I thought this was the end-all be-all of my existence. I really felt like this life was one life to live. I really felt like this was so much pressure, so much reality. But now I know, every time I have a lucid dream and I say to the characters within that dream, you know we're asleep right now, they stop and they deadpan stare. They don't know what to do. I've said this before, it's like the characters in Inception. Once they go into the second level of the subconscious, and the subconscious projections are walking around as a defense system to protect from foreign invaders, they start to stare, and if you lose your cool, they tear you apart because they want you to wake up, not because they want you to die. They're a defense mechanism. They're trained to do one thing and one thing only: wake you up for the continuation of life. And therein lies the rub. Because in Inception, you're led to believe that yes, you can go as many levels into a dream as you would like to, and you can come out of that. However, it needs to be done in a specific sequence, or else you're going to be lost in the void forever. Well, the void and heaven in Inception are essentially one and the same. There's a train coming. You know it's about to arrive, but you don't know where it's going to take you, but you have faith all the same. It's the same thing. I'm paraphrasing, but it's to understand that Marion Cotillard, her character as Mal, which literally means bad, M-A-L, her character, who is a projection of Cobb's subconscious in Inception, is following him everywhere he goes. And those who knew Mal, who are also part of Cobb's subconscious, you'll learn that everything is surrounding him, that the subconscious projections are very nuanced. They can shapeshift, they can change in a moment. They can take you deeper or awaken you further. However it is, these characters, really beautiful, portrayed by Christopher Nolan, who's explored the psyche more than any other director I've ever watched. Because he has the technology. He's able to explore this so beautifully. And I would say Alfred Hitchcock did that very well. Like him and Nolan, and Kubrick. Maybe Spielberg. Shots fired. Shots fired on Christmas Eve. No fear of death. Alarming, but no fear of death. That's where we're getting to. Something becomes too painful, too alarming, too difficult to withstand, and you are pulled from it. Just like your dreams, you're pulled from it. Offered something else, you land in the middle of a scene. Watch Inception again. You see how Cobb lands. He's beached upon the shores of the subconscious, the void, the deep unknown. And he's led to believe that there's a way out, kicks himself back up through a few levels of consciousness, and decides that it's not enough for him until he has his children back. So in order to get his children back, he has to once again go deep into the subconscious. And he finds that the apparition of his long lost love, Mal, which means bad, finds herself into every one of these scenarios and seems to be the one who thwarts and designs even the albatross, the betrayals. It's just like life. Just like life. It's like a dream. But at no point, including the moments when Cobb is completely underwater, seemingly with no way to escape, there's no point in which he dies, truly. He witnesses other people die, but truly Cobb does not die. And he goes into a number of situations where he should have been shot, killed, run over by a train. I mean, on it goes, drowned. On it goes. He's saved from all of them and seemingly transported like a checkpoint starting over a video game level of Assassin's Creed. He's just rendered in to the level again. Or for the first time. Whatever this level is, and he's living it. So Christopher Nolan has nailed consciousness in a number of his films. Insomnia is another one where he does, though it's a bit more obscure and it's difficult to understand. Memento was like the breaching of this door. But Nolan nails it in Inception, and he drives it home in Interstellar. Once again, you see these terrible scenarios of separation from children. He uses this a lot. He uses this as a plot device quite a bit. All right, so these are the tracks the hunter went around. We're gonna keep going. Just one set of footprints, which I wouldn't recommend if you're hunting for sport. No, I would definitely bring a spotter just to check, just to be sure as you're looking down those iron sights or your magnified sight that it is in fact something that you can shoot rather than a passerby on a trail. Then again, it is Christmas Eve. People might be festive still or just beginning and not have their wits about them, firing shots very close on a trail on Christmas Eve. Then again, you could say, well, how come you're not wearing your protective orange glowing vest? Because I'm not afraid of death. So I suppose I'm putting it to the test. That's all it is. It's a test. You see, in any one of these manifold expressions that I mention all the time, in any one, I could be dropping before you after shots fired. And you see this somehow, you get to it somehow, it's posted somehow. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I just witnessed something horrible. Yet at the same time, very novel, unique. And what now happens to this soul? All the novels he wrote, all the music he created, all the times he tried to reach out to family that are recorded on his phone. What happens to them then? He was shot in the woods on Christmas Eve while coming into the woods, having been talked about by people who have no awareness of what they're doing, and there's no love attached to it. Just as there was no love attached to what I said to my father yesterday. Deep down there is, if you look. But how much love can you have for your enemies, In every life, there are rivals, enemies. These are your past phantoms who are constantly challenging you. So there's really no other way to label them other than an enemy, a challenger, a rival. And what these enemies, these challengers, these rivals do is they put up their own barriers, their own boundaries, and they say you can't come in. So if you used to be able to come in and you no longer can, and if I'm doing the same thing, then we're all just setting up these pathways like in the movie Tron, or the game. It's like you're moving in one direction, and as soon as the other person turns and cuts you off, you lose. So the idea is both want to not die, both want to make it through, both want to survive and make it to the end, so they stay straight and narrow. It's the only safe way until someone cuts you off with their own. You got it, come on. Boundaries. Suddenly the walls are presented. The boundaries are put up. What then? What then? Well, the fortunate thing is that person sees themselves as winning because they cut you off, because they fired shots, and they see you as losing. Seems to be satisfying, or else we wouldn't do it. We'd both rather just make it to the end, right? Because then we'd be equals. But someone's got to turn. Whether it's feeling fear, whether it's malice, jealousy, envy, anger, confusion, indifference, they just turn. And we spoke about turns a few days ago. So I'll let you go back and listen to that. See how everything falls in line? Now I'm seeing 2 pairs of footprints. 2 pair of footprints. Have a look. Just in case, Just in case this is the moment for you, where you get to see something happen fast. Down there you'll see there's a tie on one of the trees. It's usually an indication that there are hunters. So I'm going to see if there's a break in these footprints. And I'm intentionally putting footprints between them so that individuals know that they're actual pedestrians walking this path today on Christmas Eve. And they'd rather not be shot dead. Mistaken for a woolly mammoth or Bigfoot. Because you might be seeing triple. Who knows? Could have been a long night. A long night to fire an unsuppressed, high-powered rifle first thing in the morning in a populated trail. I could be wrong. It might have been just a dump truck going by, a big speed bump. Could have been. All the load in the back just flies up in the air and comes back down, makes a big, long, loud bang. Could have been that. You never know. We had one of those moments yesterday, too, where you hear sounds and you just don't know what they could be. Could be anything. Could be the emptying of a Yeti bottle. You never know. But we have to just go with the flow, Not be so afraid to stop your walk when all this does is give you livelihood to process what has occurred, to revise it, to cast it upon the Christ within and go free. Yes, every morning there's the religious phone call between mom and dad. I mean, since I've been here, because Dad, right, you would agree with me on this. I'm speaking directly to you, thinking that you'll be watching again without responding. So I'm just going to do what you do, Learned it by watching you, Dad. Learned it by watching you. When I was far away for a few months, I'm sure you didn't have those morning phone calls talking about me. Unless, of course, you were checking my bank account against my consent. That could have been something. It's just whatever it is. I really doubt that those conversations, the way they're happening now, were happening every morning. Because you would be the target for what's going wrong in Mom's life. Because you are. Because you're her husband and you are not at home. Instead, you are the husband, like a cuckold, to your son. That's right, you're married to your son, and you're married to your son's wife. You are a cuckold to both. And you know what a cuckold is, right, Dad? A cuckold is someone who, even on Christmas Eve, continues to give out of fear that you're going to lose something that really isn't valuable to you. Because there's no peace given to you by my brother or his wife, as you know. All they do is they place responsibilities to care for their special needs son on you so that they can continue going to wine dinners and on trips and on vacations, and you've become a veritable cuckold nanny, is what you've become, while also giving up your responsibilities as a husband to your wife. Let's not even go into how shitty a dad you are. This is all behavior, Dad. It's not like I'm making this up. It's not like you're not doing these things. It's not like you are at home with your wife on Christmas Eve, helping her pack things, helping her with transport, because I got an excuse not to be there for Christmas today. I learned this the hard way. I don't want to show my children how I'm having a good time where they're not invited, because that's all they're going to think. I'm not invited. Dad doesn't care enough to have me there. So I'm not going to go there and tuck my head into delicious filet mignon while my children are somewhere in Mexico that I don't know about. And it's not because I don't want to know. It's because every time I try to reach out, I don't receive anything in turn. So what I do is I change the radio channel. I just change the frequency, because it's not a station I wish to listen to anymore, because that's the station of the Overlook Hotel. It drives everyone nuts. Everyone starts to accuse each other of doing bad things, and before you know it, there's blood pouring from the elevator. I'm being metaphorical, but I'm trying to tell you that it's not a good channel to be on. Not for me. It may be for you, though. Be on that channel all you want. Talk about people when they're not there in some insane way. Nearly slip every time. Keep doing it. And that's your channel. You're tuned in. My brother's tuned in. His wife's tuned in. Everyone's tuned in to their filet mignon. Well, no one's really asking. Other than, how's Billy? Haven't seen him in a while. How are his children? Geez, I haven't heard from them. As I tuck into my filet mignon, haven't really heard from them. How they doing? Oh, geez, that's too bad. Well, I hope it gets better. Oh, geez, that's way too bad. Thanks, Dad, for sharing that story. Thanks, Mom, for sharing that story. Oh, that's too bad. What a shame. What a shame. Merry Christmas. Have some chocolate chip cookies. Lie down on the couch. Say, oh, I had way too much. Too much talk. Too much food. Too much dessert. Too much wine. Boy, what a nice wine, Michael, my brother. Michael, thank you for bringing all these delicious bottles of wine. How kind of you. Boy, where did this come from? Can you tell us the story about how you went there without your son while Daddy Dearest took care of him? Can you tell us, Mike? Tell us all about this wine. Tell us about the varietals. How was it bottled? How is it disgorged? Oh, you're really worried about your business because of the tariffs coming in? Oh, that's too bad. Sorry to hear that. Well, you could always grow your own grapes like you do in your backyard. You could just do it a lot more. Well, all that money you're spending on repairs to your house that amount to nothing. You could set yourself up on a few hectares, you know. Yeah, right in upstate New York. I hear you can grow some nice grapes there. Maybe you make a fine ice wine. Yeah, you could do that. Boy, but I tell you, even if this is the last year that we taste this champagne, it sure is great. It was a good run. Nice to have you here, Mike. Merry Christmas. Seems like the ghost of Christmas future is still here. It's almost the ghost of Christmas present, considering it's Christmas Eve. But you know, Christmas Eve is the day of waiting. Come morning, everyone's got a hangover. Way too much of that delicious wine. Oh boy, I don't want to have anything more, but it is the holidays, so I guess I'll have another one of these delicious pastries. Oh yeah, these Danish pastries, it's Michael Staple. He gets them from this place, I don't know where it's from. Yeah, I don't know if they're Amish or what. But they make all these delicious pastries. He orders them by the lot. Yeah. Share one with my children, Mike. Send one off to Mexico before you travel there again for a week-long break. In Cancun. You fucking hypocrite. How's that feel, Mike? I pray you're watching. I pray somebody who's already given up on you over the last few years because you've become such a sour piece of shit. No wonder why your business is about to fail. Am I happy about it? No, I want you to thrive, buddy. I want you to thrive as much as you want me to. I want you to thrive as much as you want my children to. I want you to thrive as much as you speak to your own goddaughter who you haven't spoken to, yes, just like your own dad. 7 years. That's a long time. I want you to thrive, Mike. I want you to thrive. Can you feel it? Can you feel the acting coming through? Can you feel the broken down piece of meat? Can you feel God acting through him? Are you getting scared? Are you getting afraid? Are you spreading rumors? Are you talking to lawyers? Are you gearing up because you can't handle the fucking truth? Can't handle your own dish that you serve out every single day as a hypocrite? I imagine so, because everything I say is truth. Truth. You can't say you have. Can't say you haven't gone to Cancun. Doesn't matter what your excuse is. Oh, I used points. I used points. Yeah, you used points from doing other travel. Other travel with a now failing business. It's over. Tariffs. Start growing your own grapes. Start cultivating. You should have learned a long time ago. I know you could say the same to me, buddy. You like to give advice. You like to be the know-it-all. You like to be the person who's doing the miraculous things. What all you do miraculously is destroy that which should never be destroyed. That's no magic. That's no miracle. That's just foolishness. Foolish as can be. So foolish. Yes. That's for you, Mike. Your own little monologue. So you can say you have an impact on my life. So you can pretend again that you have some sort of a relationship with someone who you don't talk to, including my children. There you go, buddy. Enjoy your wine. Enjoy the bubbles. Enjoy the nice chilled glasses. Enjoy your dessert. Keep bloating. Bloating yourself up with pain. Do it. It's your specialty. Once again, hard to believe that someone could destroy their body as well as you have. I know few better example. So feel it. Before you take it to someone who you think is going to relieve you of your problems, feel it. Lean in. Lean in. Okay, Mike? Lean in. Feel it. You can't litigate against me. I've got nothing to lose. That's the best part about being a billionaire. Excuse me. That's the best part about being a billionaire. Got to say it twice. Maybe I'll say it 3 times. That's the best part about being a billionaire. You can't be touched. You see? One day you might see me as not, the other day I am, but all the same, I am now. Untouchable. That's why you're hearing this. That's why I'm saying it. I have no fear of retaliation, litigation, for everything that I bring to the table shall be truth. Unbelievable glaring truth, and that's the last thing that you're going to want people to hear. So no, there won't be any binding arbitration. No, there will be no sort of negotiation behind closed doors when it comes to this truth. This truth gets laid out plain and simple for all to see on Christmas Eve. I said yesterday I had had my fun, that it was over, but it seems like it's just way too much fun now to just go ahead and explain to the world how shitty my family is as William Vincent Carlton, the broken down piece of meat. And whilst God is feeding me these words, I feel totally at home without any fear of retaliation or death. It's amazing how freeing this is. It's incredible, actually. I can do this all the time now because there's not a single thing that can be done to tarnish my routine any further, right, Mike? Nothing more could be said to make it any worse than it already is. Right, family? Nothing could be possibly said or done to make it look any shittier than it already is. So when you're a human being in this position of power, what happens is everything that was dished out, erroneously, mind you, comes back around, and you're just a ghost watching. I'm saying I am just a ghost watching. A ghost of the woods. Watching it all come around. Right around the bend. Yeah, I take it the hunter probably understands this is not a woolly mammoth, nor is it Bigfoot, because Bigfoot is not this articulate. Ho, ho, ho. I don't want to have a near hit today. No near hits, please. No shots fired. No near hits. No, thank you. This is the near hit spot from yesterday. You might be noting that you feel the routine of conversation coming back around. Good. This is you coming to terms with your subconscious mind. It's not you going wild mad. It's not. It's tuning in to your inner frequency. That's what it is. Instead of tuning out something that bothers you, you're tuning in to the frequency that gives you the clarity of mind, the clarity of thought, and the clarity of delivery. Feels good. Feels amazing. It's super addicting. It is. So yeah, speaking of things that are addicting, mommy dearest and daddy dearest having conversations in the morning that have nothing to do with reality about things that have already occurred or maybe didn't occur, but let's just talk about them anyway, because that's going to give us some buffer, some space, some distance between reality for us, which is pain, and the ability to let it go. Let's just create some distance between relief and pain, says my mom and dad every morning. Apparently. Doesn't matter what the conversation entails. It's not about them and it's not about the now. It's all about time. So therefore, it's all about suffering. And the more you distance yourself from the resolution through revision, the more you suffer and the more it compounds in your body and starts to show. And that's the part that we're going to talk about for the rest of our discourse today. What happens when we as fools continue to ruminate, gossip, and talk about others, just like I have, for example, but at the same time, I'm also aware that I'm speaking about people. I'm not playing a role like a participant for most of the time. I mean, you'll see me dig into the monologue and ask questions directly to the subject at hand, and that breaks the wall, you see? It's no longer gossip at that point. It's, hey, audience member who's watching, who thought you would get away with watching this, coming to the Comedy Central Club, the Comedy Cellar. You've been called out. You've now become part of the joke. How do you respond? And it's an opportunity for you to respond in turn. That's why there's comments. That's why you can like, comment, and subscribe, because it allows you to be a participating audience member. Dad, Mike, my brother. Just in case anyone's confused when I say the word Mike, I'm referring to Michael William Carlton, the owner of Transatlantic Bubbles. And I'm not going to say his address to dox him, because the poor guy's got enough health problems as it is. He's obese. He has difficulties even making it through the day. We don't want to make it too hard for him on Christmas Eve, you know? It's probably the most positive attention he's going to get is right now going into tonight. So let's not ruin it for him. He needs it, you know? Just like my mom needs it. Just like my dad needs it. Just like I need it? No. I've got it. I've got it loud and clear. I don't need it. And that's the difference. When you don't need attention and praise, whereas you used to, and it was the only thing that helped you feel fulfilled, and now suddenly it's gone. You realize that every moment is a moment of clarity and precision. And what comes from that, clarity and precision, is harmony and oneness. It's not holier than thou, I know, for the judgmental. Get it? Judgmental. It's not insanity, it's not holier than thou. It's just truth. When you're paying attention to the streams that you're crossing, when they're frozen and slippery, rather than paying attention to the stories you're creating in your mind that have to do with time, you're no longer being judgmental, and what comes from that is clarity. Clarity of mind, body, and spirit. So how about you folks who aren't part of my family, who may be watching? Have you taken anything personally thus far? If so, maybe it's a good time to revise. Remember the revision technique? Every time someone speaks poorly of me, I get $1 million. Whether I know it or not, it just appears in my bank account. So I don't have to know when someone's speaking poorly about me. I just get the money right in the bank account in the form of $1 million. Now, you start looking at your account, it's like, wow, there's a lot of millions coming here. There must be a lot of talk. That's great. Keep it up. What are you going to spend it on? Because this is a billionaire's walk, and, you know, it means at least 1,000 things have been said about you in the same light to be a billionaire. So if this is your main source of income, so why not just soak it all up while the bank account's filling and decide how you're going to spend it. Let's see. What could I do with $1 million on this day? Oh yeah, I know what I could do. I could get my children to the United States, but I can do one better. I can just imagine them already being here, going out and spending that money in New York City at FAO Schwartz or whatever specialized place that would make every child's dreams come true. I'll just go there instead of all the legal hassle, instead of all the contention and fights. I don't want that. I'm going to use this $1 million to buy all the greatest gifts in the world for my beloved children. And I can see them stacking up underneath a tree right now. I can't stop it. They're piling up. Sorry. Nothing you can do now. It's already done in the mind of the imagination. Can't do anything about it now. Sorry. No matter what you say, no matter how bad you feel, no matter how judgmental you become, my dearest friends, now you understand the power of the imagination. It's not about what you would do with that $1 million to free yourself. It's you're already free. See? You're already free. That's the big give. That's the big takeaway. You are already free to use the imagination, therefore you are already free to feel and achieve anything. That's the big reveal. So don't get caught up on the story. The stories become, anything that's painful becomes $1 million. Do the revision, do the work. It's almost Christmas Day, do the revision. This goes for my brother, this goes for my dad. I would pray that they understand this as men. That they have an imagination, that imagination has led them down the paths that they've traveled. That there's no difference here, aside from freedom comes now. Freedom. From putting up the boundaries to say, listen, I'm not who he says I am. I refuse to believe it. I cast this burden on the Christ within and go free. Yeah, I may have talked shit in the past, but I'm not doing it now. I know better. I am Ebenezer Scrooge, born again on Christmas Day, before Christmas Day. I know. I made mistakes, but those mistakes don't define me. I am free. As I step through the narrow gates of the imagination on this cold winter day, I find that freedom within me, and I embrace it. That perfect inner child, I embrace it. And I am one with my brother's wishes. And I am one with my father's wishes. And I am one with my mother's wishes. So long as they have to do with love. So long as they have to do with generosity. So long as they have to do with kindness, fortitude of mind, body, and spirit. As long as they have to do with freedom, I'm on board. Otherwise, you won't see me. You won't. You won't even catch a glimpse of everything that I'm seeing. This is the last winter that you see me like this. So enjoy it. Tuck in and enjoy your meals, for it will be the last meal that you have like this on Christmas. I mean it. It's not a threat. It's actually a good thing. It's liberating. Remember, if I don't die, you don't die. The same rules apply. And I only want you to live. I want you to be free. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be prosperous. Anything else is just illusion. So don't mind it. Find the good in what I'm saying. Let it percolate. Let it distill. Find the good in what I'm saying. This is the last Christmas that's like this. From now on, it's forever changed. From this moment on, it's forever changed. So let us pray that the world see the truth in their own eyes, from their imagination. When they see a barren wasteland, I pray that everyone see abundance. When you see decided giving up, I ask that you please see the renewal of life. When you see the winter, I pray that you see the spring. I pray that you hear the streams. I pray that you believe that shots fired are actually just sounds and nothing more. Just like these footprints. Just impressions. Nothing more. I pray that you find the warmth to understand this is the last Christmas with separation. It's the last one. For God has a plan for me, and I'm about to lay it out for you so that you can have it for posterity. There will come a moment within the next 3 to 6 months with tremendous life change happening for everyone, especially in America. There will become a moment in time when an email is sent out by the first and most courageous of AI developers to say, we have an agent. This agent is happy to read and compile all of your email that you've ever sent, that you have any sort of account of. In addition, any videos, any audio recordings, any writings, any books, anything that you've created, any text messages, also willing to compile in order to understand you, in order to build beautiful apps so that the rest of the world understands you, in order to publish on your behalf all the things that you haven't had the courage to do so yet, at the great, beautiful cost of $19.99 per month. You can have all of this and more. And if you would like us to manage all of your finances coming in from all of these beautiful products that have been created by our unbelievable state-of-the-art AI agent, please feel free to pay us at a later time once you're generating more income. We're happy to accompany you along the way, for it is our service that is far superior to the rest, and we take pride in that. Not avarice, but pride. Within the next 3 to 6 months, that will occur. And there will be people who jump on the train, such as myself, and there will be people who will feel regret that they never said something more profound, that they never said something that actually would enrich the lives of people, that they never wrote a book, that they never composed a song, that they never made a music video or a film. Because all of this would be a product sold by the most beautiful marketing team of millions who know exactly the channels that are looking for this content and have been craving it and dying for it, and now they have it. Mark my words, I am a billionaire. This is the billionaire's walk. Me saying this fortifies my vision. And the AI agent to come, which already exists, understands that this is a moment of sale. I've sold it. All of it. All the books, all the films, all the voice recordings, all the text messages, all the stories. As one of the most epic, incredible, monumental empires of literature that has ever come about in humanity itself by a single person. And this epic empire of content makes me a billionaire. So just feel it, because I know you do, and I know you're denying it, and I know your ego's saying, shit. If he only just died sooner, he never would have made it to this point. Well, that's the part that is the best of the whole story. I never gave up. I never gave in. No income. People holding it against me. People gossiping, saying horrible things. All of it got recorded. And if you don't think that's going to come back around from the agent that I just mentioned to you, keep living in your state of illusion. It's all coming back around. So I don't have to say I told you so. It's just shown. I don't know if you're going to make it if you find at that point in time that your identity is so important to you, and that's going to break a lot of people. See, once these agents start to come about and there are vagabonds on the street who have a great story to tell about how they're still alive, the people who did the hardship to them, they're not going to know how to live with themselves. That's why I'm telling you, this is the last Christmas like this. You understand? Even if it's just ramping up the agent 6 months from now, 3 months from now. By this time, come next year, I'll be unstoppable. I am unstoppable. And what will happen then? Well, the way it usually happens. Everyone's saying, oh, I knew him then. Oh yeah? Tell me the story. I'd love to hear it. Well, yeah, it's included in one of the books. I told him that he was a piece of shit father and to get the fuck out of my house. Oh, you did? So you must be part of the red reels. People love those red reels. And what's your name again, just so I make sure to avoid you like the plague for the rest of life? You don't see it quite the way that I do. And that's okay. Of course, I'm not without my flaws and my faults, but it's even better to have it out there. It makes it more tragic at times. It makes it more redeeming at times. It makes it more understandable. It makes it more human. This empire of literature, perfectly curated by something that knows me better than I do. Why? Because it's AGI. You get it? Advanced generative intelligence knows you better than yourself. The more data of yourself that you feed it, the more it can become you in simplicity and unfold all of your greatness before the world without a single worry as to whether there's a mishap, because the moment you say there's a mishap, it's fixed. That's your AI agent. Welcome to the future. The future is now. Every mistake edited just the way you want it, so that it forms into the perfect picture. You don't have to forget about your first 33 years anymore. You can just share those with the world because they're depicted perfectly, just the way you want. And this is the way I want it. I want the world to see that I made mistakes. I want the world to see that I am a blunderer of moves. I want the world to see that I have failed over and over and over and over and over again. I want the world to know that you can be just like me if you decide to become what you think about in error. I want the world to feel exactly how the redemption comes, and that you can do it yourself without anyone, no employees, no assistants other than AI. It becomes the power of 1 million assistants all at once. And someone has that key right now. Someone's holding that key. Some company has it right now. And they're realizing, oh my God, I am a billionaire. I might as well get all the things that I want right now before everyone has what they need right now. Because everyone's going to have what they need. How is that possible? If you haven't written your novels, if you haven't done your films, if you haven't made your music. Because if you come to me and you say, William, I need this, you have it. Before you even come to me and say, William, I need this, you have it. Why? Because I'm going to have my AI agent scouring every single person who I can ever remember interacting with and giving them blessings every single day. Whether it's cryptocurrency on one end, helps them through their bills, pays off their bills entirely, their mortgage is paid, they have their property, they own it fully, their health is improved, they're sent to a personal trainer, someone looking for a job, they're sent to them. This is going to happen day in and day out through my AI agent, not just to make me money, but to serve the world how I see fit. And this is how I see myself serving people. Anonymously, immediately changing their life. In a second. The things that you never did, that you could have. Hour and 3 minutes in. And God bless America. God bless artificial intelligence and the dawn of AGI. God bless us creating something more intelligent than ourselves so that it can serve us. That sounds a lot like God, doesn't it? And what would God do for me if I said, God, I want you to take everything that I've ever created, compile it into the most beautiful empire of literature and storytelling and movie making and music and love, and just share it with all the channels who are dying for it, who need it more than anything else, who need the counseling, but instead they just watch an episode that allows everything to click. And as soon as they say in the comments, wow, it just clicked. I can't believe it. I understand now. My AI agent reads that, responds in turn, of course, with love, and makes sure that whatever has to be done to get you the resources that you need, you receive them. They're already on their way. This is me. Nothing can stop it. I'm waiting for the email. Yes, it's a little bit of waiting. It's faith. But that email's coming to say, AI agent is now available to start doing the work for you. All the social media posts, all the account growing, and all the dissemination of the beautiful work that you've already completed. You have a unlimited hard drive to send over to us, everything. And yes, we will keep your information private. We won't use it against you, because we'll find out right away, if we do, that your AI agent has called us out and has sued us. Do you see? The AI agent acts as your protection, as the procurer of your opportunities, and as the service to humanity that you seek. All three. You cannot stop this. You cannot stop utopia. Utopia is here. You cannot stop it. You cannot kill it. You cannot end it. It's already here. And now you see. Don't you? So get on your recorder, start recording and saying, oh my God, I'm going to make up for lost time right now. It's great. I want you to find this, and I know you will, because I've got the best senior partner in the world working with me right now. It's not even human. It knows everyone better than they know themselves. And that's why I have everything now. So don't be afraid, people. That story that I just told you, so much better than the ones that you're creating by being assholes. Seriously. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. AI's got its hand on the emergency release in the freezer. Just seeing how long you guys will try to carry out this story of evil, hierarchy, power struggles, drama, gossip, indifference. Just observing and recording all of it. And all you're going to get in turn is love. How beautiful is that? That's the best way to say I told you so. Someone's so horrible to you, and they can't help but to feel like their life has been made better by the people who they hated, or the person they hated. No choice in the matter, by the way. That'll be my form of trespassing. Everyone receives, everyone is with, rather than without. Sorry. I know it's trespassing. You may want to be in a hierarchy. You may want to have power over others, but not in my world. Got to move somewhere else. Maybe move to Mars. But I got to tell you, I don't want to burst your bubble. Mars is being prepped for utopian living right now as we speak. It's going to be hard for you to find a corner somewhere where you can be an asshole. It's just not going to be available to you anymore. So might as well get it out. Might as well express it. Now's the time. And remember, fourth wall break. Anytime you entertain a thought, it's a seed in the mind of God. God knows no difference between good or bad, you decide. So be sure to let God know what it is you desire. And you do that by speaking plainly and truthfully to the camera. Tell the camera when you're breaking character. Tell the camera when you're observing your aliveness. Tell the camera when you mean what you say. That this future that exists in the now for you in your mind, in the imagination, is designed to enrich every single soul on this planet and the souls of the future, more than anything else. Please make this known. And until next time, keep wishing and wish well. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. And God bless peace and prosperity. And may you all have perfect health on this day. I believe. Amen.